What's up, everyone? It's the Autistic Scyther here, and what if you were a Pokémon Gym Leader? And yeah, I know I actually made a nice little... I made this video like 2 or so weeks, 2 weeks ago. But in this case, I put in a poll, and basically, thus far, the results are in. I'm making it a series, so honestly, kind of makes you wonder. And in fact, I was wondering what I would be like if I became a Pokemon Gym Leader of any type. For those that already don't know, I already went through Ghost type, so in this case, the next thing up is something a little more physically imposing. And in this case, that just so happens to be the fighting type. Alright, for those that already don't know, if you're possibly wondering, wait, how would that even work? Well, that's kind of interesting myself, and it's something I've kind of noticed. As fighting type gym leaders or many fighting type users all have something to do with strength or physical prowess, like physical activity, like actual fighting or martial arts. Like, you've had individuals like Bruno, Brawly, Karina, Maylene, Airy, Marshall, B, Hala, what's that guy's name from? Ivor! Yeah, Ivor from Pokemon Legends ZA. But, honestly, yeah, all of them just focus on strength or physical musculature. Well, one thing, in this case, I'm going a little different. And as you already noticed, well, let's just put it as blunt as I possibly can. Scrawny. Yeah, I am scrawny. But it made me think of something that, honestly, everyone tends to think of. And that's superheroes. And naturally, when you think about it, the main thing of what anyone would think of are that superheroes come in every shape or size, especially when it comes down to superheroes who start off just kind of the scrawny, nerdy weakling, but then eventually become brave and strong heroes in their own right. Think Peter Parker from Spider-Man, or Izuku Midoriya from My Hero Academia, or Saitama from One Punch Man. And knowing me, I've seen a lot of superhero cartoons and, of course, anime. Like, again, the aforementioned My Hero Academia and One Punch Man, to Batman the Brave and the Bold, Static Shock, the original Teen Titans, and, of course, Teen Titans Go. But in this case, makes me wonder what my gym would be like. And this is what it would be. Alright, first things first, let's just say one thing. My gym would be essentially the third gym in the region. Simple thing, because again, in almost every region, the fighting type gym has at least been around that middle section, like 3rd, 4th, or 5th. Like, take the Shalor City gym, or Veilstone's gym in Diamond and Pearl, or BDSP. And, in fact, when you first come to the gym and enter in there, you see something different, as it's not a physical fighting gym. It's basically just a convention center. Dare I say, a Comic-Con of sorts. Yeah, I know, when a lot of people think of comic book conventions, and they would think about, well, the first thing that comes to mind is the stench. Because naturally, when they think about nerds, they think of, especially comic book nerds, that the whole they never bathe thing comes to mind. And, well, that's not all true all the time. It is a very pervasive idea. It is a very pervasive stereotype. So basically, you have to go through this comic book convention just to find the gym leader. And you hear that the gym leader is found in a back room that is only finding ways to figure out the manuscript for his next book in his comic book series. And in order to get to the back room, you have to find a code. Thing is, three of my fans are you have to find 3 individuals who basically have pieces of the code, who are all fans of the gym leader, myself, who will give them to you if you could defeat them in a battle. And the thing is, they have a lot of Pokemon that basically start off small but become strong. Pokemon like Machop, Tyrogue, Metatite, Scraggy, Pancham. And surprisingly enough, one of them, a collector, has a Spidops. Now, you're possibly wondering, wait a second, Spidops isn't a fighting type? And I have to say good eye. Because, of course, it turns out the collector basically mentions that the gym leader has a Pokemon that is very similar to his Spidops. So, once you get to the code together, you basically take it to the back room and enter it into a, well, I guess I'd say a security code. I guess I'd say keypad that allows it to unlock the door, allowing you to gain access into my inner sanctum. And there you see me sitting at a desk, basically fussing over my latest manuscript. I look up, smile, and say, So you've arrived. Ever since I was young, I've always admired superheroes. Their strength, bravery, and their morality. Even with creating my comic book series, I felt like something was missing. Hopefully, you're the challenger I've been hoping for. And with that, the battle begins. And yeah, for those that already don't know, I'll be battling you with 3 Pokemon. And the first Pokemon I send out is Metatite at level 26. And it's a pretty powerful Pokemon. Not only being fighting psychic, but has access to the ability Pure Power, which honestly gives it a significant boost in its physical attack strength. And as such, it will make some perfect use of that. Having access to the move Zen Headbutt. Having access to the move Zen Headbutt for that psychic stab. And Brick Break for that fighting type stab. But if you decide to set up any screens, it'll be there to break any of them that you decide to set up. Plus, it has access to the moves Detect to basically protect itself from any of your attacks and work up to raise its attack even stronger. But you defeat it, and as soon as you defeat it, I send out my second Pokemon, a level 30 Hawlucha. And naturally and this one is a pretty powerful Pokemon as well. Not only does it have the ability Unburden, which raises its speed whenever it uses up an item, but it also has a citrus berry, so it's able to basically heal itself up when it gets to a certain health, when it gets to half its health. Additionally, it has access to the move Feather Dance to lower your Pokemon's attack power, and Trailblaze to raise its speed even further, making it even faster. Not only that, but also has access to the move Aerial Ace, which never misses, by the way, and of course, Brick Break to break any screens you have up. But knowing you'll defeat Hawlucha too. And of course, with that, I'm like, might as well. Looks like I'm backed up against the corner. But there's always a hero always finds way to turn things around in their favor. And with that, I send out my final Pokemon, a level 34 Low-Kicks. Yeah. Now, Low-Kicks isn't fighting type. It's Bug Dark. However, there's a reason why I chose Low-Kicks. And if you remember the collector with the Spidops, well, he said the gym leader had a Pokemon that was similar to his Spidops. And that Pokemon's Low-Kicks. Basically, Spidops is kind of similar to like Spider-Man. Low-Kicks is, in all fairness, based on it's a Locust, it's also based on Kamen Rider, which is a Japanese Sentai series, or superhero series, where each of the heroes are based on have costumes based on insects. And basically, that's not the only thing. As of course, I will terrestrialize my Low-Kicks and turn it into a fighting type. Just to give its fighting type moves that little bit of a boost. Granted, it will be still weak to flying type moves, but yeah, this is gonna be an interesting one. And even further, it has some interesting moves as well. Agility to boost up its speed. Lunge to lower your special attacks. Lunge to lower your Pokemon's attack stat. Endure to basically take any attack and more or less take any attack that would knock it out. Of course, it'll also hold the leftovers to basically heal itself up every turn. And of course, Brick Break to destroy any screens you set up as a last-ditch effort. But of course, once you defeat that, and once you do, I basically say, I just knew you, I just knew you were the one. You reminded me of how I was when I started making my first comic book. Here, you've earned this badge, and blaze your own path. And with that, you obtain the Hero Badge, which is basically kind of similar to a Kamen Rider helmet, which kind of fits the hero aspect. And additionally, I say, here, you deserve this TM as well. Every hero needs to know how to break through barriers. And of course, I give you the TM for Brick Break. Yeah. And with that, that's what I would be if I was a Pokemon Gym Leader, or specifically, a fighting type Pokemon Gym Leader. So yeah, with that being said, like, comment, comment, subscribe, and of course, I have a Patreon, so for if you want to sign up, it's patreon.com the Autistic Scyther, and sign on up. You don't have to, just if you feel like it, you can do it. That being said, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.